Hi, it's me, Galen. Yeah, Galen's got Parkinson's. This is a rare foray into daylight for the original gang of adventurers that my family and I used back in the early 80s. Pre-1985 anyway, because that's when my daughter was born and we were doing it before that. And I know who they are. So the cleric on the left-hand side, as we look at him, is my brother's character, and he's called Cynthia. The elf ranger was my mum. The little dark, deathy character was Mrs. Bicknell, our magic user, and that was my grandma. There's a halfling who was played by my brother, who was 9, 10 at the time. Then we've got the dwarf, who was my granddad. And behind them is a paladin. And the big lad on the right is my dad's character, Absalom, the barbarian, who began every role-playing adventure by standing at the doorway and bellowing at the top of his voice to tell everybody we were coming. Needless to say, a lot of these adventures ended in disaster. At the time, we were playing actual Dungeons and Dragons modules. We started with the Tomb of Horrors, which I still have, and I've got a video of me playing it as a solo game. I've still got all the bits for Tomb of Horrors, and I've also got some other Dungeons and Dragons games that we played fairly early on. I'll go through those and have a look at them at some point. But they were the principal adventurers in our ragtag bunch of ne'er-do-wells and grave robbers. And here we have the type of hosts that we would fairly regularly encounter. Some Citadel, certainly some Ralpartha, the spindly type orcs at the front are definitely Ralpartha. There's some hobgoblins there as well. We met a lot of goblins back in the day. A lot of goblins. Actually, one of the things that's nice, as a family, we still role play. My daughter, her husband, myself, my wife will have a role-playing game over New Year. My birthday's coming up. That's sort of a tradition, rather than playing some weird charades or whatever. But a lot of the original team physically are no longer with us. My grandmother, my grandfather, my dad, Absalom, have all left us. Now, when I put that team up, and because of my New Year resolution, which is to get them back into the dungeons, they can live again. And they can remind me of all those wonderful memories that I suspect if we'd been playing Monopoly, I wouldn't have by now, would I? I think 30 years later, 40 years later, 45 years later, some of those games. I don't remember the games of Connect 4 that we played back that far. I do remember the games of Dungeons and Dragons. So, good memories, good memories. And we also met our fair share of weirdos. For example, lizard men. And possibly, on occasion, a yeti, but a very small one. Or sometimes his big brother. He's a whopper, isn't he? Maybe a strange wind might blow in through the tunnels. That rather depended on what Absalom had to eat, to be honest. Of course, Dungeons and Dragons. You can always rely upon there being a spider and a fair old smattering of the undead of various ilks and persuasions. We had a whole raft of undead. Take the little Yeti away, here we have some undead. There we go, you come away as well. Divine Wind. We have some undeads there, strolling along. And occasionally we would meet friendly, helpful characters who might even lend an assistance. Chaps like him, or possibly even him. Oops, he's fainted. He's fainted at the shock of being out after 50 years. I think. He can't cope with being out after 50 years, that lad. He's come over all unnecessary. And we had all sorts of figures and random bits and bobs. But quite often, we didn't get far enough to encounter them all. So I found as a dungeon master, it wasn't really worth writing down too many bits and bobs because nobody ever got to them. Oh, I just hope you've enjoyed having a look at our old figures. I haven't painted them, I've done nothing with them. They could do with basing, to be honest. It does make life so much simpler. But it's not what we did back in the day. But I have to admit, they are a pain. They do fall over far too much. Let me know what you think. I suppose it wouldn't hurt to base them, would it? There are some that have got the occasional penny stuck on them, or a shilling. I think this fella's got, I think that's an old half p he's got on his base. If I'm not much mistaken with my dodgy eyes. I bet I could even read the date if I tried hard enough. It's a bit corroded and grotty. No. Oh, hang on. No, that can't be right. No, that's 1978. I can't believe I had that figure in 1978. But the half P that he's based on is from 1978. So, you know, the half P was around before he was, so that makes sense, wouldn't it? I got Dungeons and Dragons in 78. I was playing it early 80s, certainly up to 84, 83. So I would probably say we had most of these games in 82. Don't know, I forgot. Ta-ra, Chuck.